Doug, in reforming marriage, you say the central lie of pornography is that it says men and women have different bodies but the same kind of brain. What do you mean by that?
I did say that, and
it's right here.
Yes. What I meant by that is when, let's say you've got a 13-year-old boy who gets sucked into the world of pornography, and let's say he doesn't get married until he's 23. That's 10 years of pornographic catechism. Okay? Now, one of the problems that Christians have is that they evaluate things and they disapprove of things like that sort of on a surface level. Oh, look at all this immodesty. Well, okay, yeah, obviously it's immodest, it's brazen. That's a problem with it. But the central problem is this young boy is being trained to think that women, grown, mature women out there, this strange species out there, think about sex and are as hot for it as he is, and in the same way. Right.
And is accessible by a click.
Yeah, click, click, click. And all I have to do, if I want girls to take their clothes off, and turns out they want to take their clothes off, right? Well, the problem with it, and in marriage seminars, one of the jokes, or when in marriage counseling, pre-marriage counseling, one of the jokes is, sexually speaking, men are microwaves and women are crockpots. Okay. And pornography tells you that everybody's a microwave. And so what you've done is you've imperialistically implanted a male mindset about sex and sexual intercourse and ready to go, radical promiscuity and easy sex and free love. You've implanted that as something that women want. Okay. Well, of course I want it, but this is a liberated time.
Yeah.
Women are just the same as men in this regard. They have a sexual interest too, and so then you take the next. Of course they do, right? But they have a completely different approach to it than a 13-year-old boy does. And so if the 13-year-old boy starts getting trained in this, he is sexually retarded because when he's 23, he's still thinking. He's been trained to think that all these women are like 13-year-old girls who are thinking like 13-year-old boys. Only they're physiologically different, but other than that, that's what makes the fun possible, but they think the same way. And then he gets married, let's say, okay? When he gets married, he is going to think that he got a dud.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I've been told, I've been catechized. I've been thoroughly catechized. I've learned my sexual catechism, and that catechism has been telling me lies about women. And it's not that the woman he married is uninterested in sex. The problem is that she's not interested in it that way, and he's clueless about how to court a woman, how to woo her, he just doesn't know because it's all been handed to him.
So, okay, you've got a sort of male attitude towards sexuality and then a female attitude towards sexuality, and a marriage happens when those two have to come together.
Right.
Now, if you're the husband, if you're the male, and you have a sense of your own headship within the relationship, is your attitude and relationship to sexuality supposed to lead, or how do these two to come together? Are you supposed to say, no, hers is right and mine is wrong?
Yeah, no, it's a triangle. It's not two people playing tug of war whose perspective should rule here. And the answer Paul gives in Corinthians is both. So, husband, your body belongs to your wife. Wife, your body belongs to your husband. And that's said on the authority of Christ. Christ is the one who says you belong to each other. All right. So when a man receives the gift of a woman's body and she receives the gift of a man's body, you're receiving the whole package. Right? So when a woman receives the gift of her husband's body, it's not just the physiological male body she's getting. She's getting the mentality, the approach, everything. All right? But the same thing is true of him. Okay, so like everything else in a good and healthy marriage, it's meet in the middle and work it out. So Peter says, "Husbands, dwell with your wives as with a weaker vessel," and he says, "Dwell with your wives with understanding." That means he's got to study her. He's got to know how she ticks, and she needs to do the same for him.
And that leadership that understanding that he's taking, and that dwelling with her with understanding, and that submission to her will on the sexually at least, that is his leadership
Right.
in teaching them in their sexual relationship.
Right. Now we live in demented times. So and there's much talk in Christian circles about servant leadership, and that has been turned
Right.
In many cases to find out what she wants and provide that for her.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not servant leadership. That's a servant, but it's not a servant leader.
Right.
And the people who talk this way never talk about servant lordship. Okay. Well, I do believe that a husband should be kind and considerate and thoughtful and understanding, all of those things. But part of his understanding her is he needs to understand that she needs someone who will not always let her get her way. Right. So if he's constantly, whatever you say, dear, and she might not be henpecking him, but if he acts henpecked, if he's not henpecked by her, but has been henpecked by all the marriage books he's read or all the counselors he's talked to, find out what she wants and give it to her. Well, suppose what she wants is a man who has his own opinions. Well, suppose she wants a man.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if you're constantly checking with her, you're frustrating her at the same time. So what happens is women are capable of getting everything they want and being deeply frustrated by it because they want a man who's can stand up to her.
So you're identifying what it seems like the real tension here is that we do have this weird picture in the evangelical world of the servant leader, which basically it means be her servant and we'll pretend like you're the leader.
Right.
And there's no actual leadership there. So you have a leaning against that. You want to truly be a leader, but then when it comes to the sexuality, there is this sense of you're actually seeking to fulfill her needs.
Right.
And in a submissive is the wrong word for it, but there's some sense in which you're prioritizing hers over yours.
Right. But there's no way, given the physiology of it, given the very nature of it, it's not possible for sex to be pleasurable to the woman and not to the man.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the man who loves his wife loves himself, Paul says in Ephesians 5. So there's a built-in reciprocity.
That's good.